What is up, everyone, and welcome to the pre-race Daytona drivers meeting. I'm going to make this as quick as possible. Now, I've had the rules up on a stream one time before, um, but I'm going to have it up again as we go over some of the fine-tuned things, and then we'll go over some rules for Daytona. We'll start with Daytona rules first, since that's the race we're running. So I'm going to give everyone a minute or two to kind of load in here and tune in to this drivers meeting, and then go from there. So kind of spread the word uh, as to who's available and present. If you see someone that's not present for the drivers meeting, let them know. Again, I'll give everyone uh, another minute or so to get loaded in here, and then we'll kind of go over everything. And we'll make this as quick as possible because I understand that everyone wants to go green flag racing as soon as possible. I want to go green flag racing as soon as possible as well. No music or nothing this time. This is a straight up pre-race broadcast. So I also want to in advance apologize. Our broadcaster is having some technical difficulties. Sprung up about an hour and a half before now. So we won't be able to catch the beginning of the race, but hopefully we'll be able to catch some of the some of the race. So at least the ending. Hopefully we can catch at least some of the ending. Okay. So is everyone present for the pre-race? All right. Good. Okay, we're going ahead and get this thing rolling. Um, so let's go ahead and get started with Daytona rules first. Some of the biggest rules that we want to discuss for Daytona. Um, as far as, of course, we understand the drivers or the bumper lock rule. No bumper lock until the white flag. White flag, you're clear to bumper lock. Until then, bumper lock is not allowed. Okay, if you're caught bumper locking before then it's going to result in a penalty, or continuation of it's definitely going to result in some DNFing. So we don't want that to take place. We want a nice clean race all the way through. Last lap comes around though, you can bumper lock the heck out of those cars and get done what you need to get done. Okay. There obviously are no rules as far as restarts of any sort. We restart at the start finish line, but as far as when to pass or whatever, when to pass at the drop of the green flag, you can make any pass that results, or that's for any track that we run. The Daytona exception is going to be the double yellow line. Obviously, you cannot make passes below the double yellow. So if you do, you're going to be black flag for it. Okay. Um, as far as Daytona, that's all the rules that I can think of. Guys that are my officials, if you get DNF'd out of this race, this applies to Beloved, this applies to Hair Bear, or Chris. I'm sorry, Chris. This applies to Ghost. If you DNF out of the race, please go to the spectator mode and call the cautions. So, guys, if one of those guys DNF out of any of the races, they're going to go to the spectator mode and they will call the cautions for us. And this will give us the opportunity to focus strictly on racing. If it's a caution, they will call it. If it's not a caution, they will not call it. So, but that's only if they DNF. Until then, of course, we are responsible for calling our own cautions. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and say this right off the bat before I touch on the rest of these rules. Because our spectator or because our broadcaster is having some issues, there will be at some point there will be a competition caution for that, and I do apologize for the inconvenience that may cause, depending on what time he can get situated. Hopefully, it'll be very very soon, and he can at least get to the middle part of the race. But obviously, I'm going to have to get him in, give him the code so that he can start the stream and whatnot. But then after that, we should be okay. But there will be a competition caution. If it's 10 to go or less, then no, it won't be a competition caution. But if there's a reasonable amount of laps left, then we're gonna throw the flag, throw the yellow so that he can get, or throw the red even so that he can get in and everything. Okay, so I just want to let you know right off the bat. So plan for that. All right, so let's briefly touch on some of these big rules. Obviously, first and foremost, no swearing. That will be penalized. You will get points. There are no black flag pass-throughs. It's point penalties. Every time there's a black flag, it's minus 20. So you don't want to have that happen. So just remember that rule. If I can get my mouse over to the actual giant, there we go. Okay, so that's first and foremost. As far as um, the qualifying, as far as there is no qualifying, so pole is going to be our champion in paint. Congratulations. And then outside pole is going to be back in black, the winner of the qualifying race. Everything else is random. Race number 2, finish order invert. Race number 3, points invert. Race number 4, points as listed in order. That's going to be the order for all of the tracks in each round, okay? Everyone knows the caution rule. Here's the big difference. Lucky dog winner. Once we determine who the lucky dog is, we're going to open pit road. The lucky dog will not, I repeat, the lucky dog will not get his lap back until after pit stops. After pit stops, when he comes out of pit road, he will circle around to get his lap back. Now, if he is more than halfway around the racetrack when we are coming around to the start finish line, we will go green. We're going to double up. We will prepare to go green. That's the price you're going to pay for going a lap down this season. Okay, so don't feel bad. Just try not to go a lap down. It's just that simple. But any waiver rounds, same rule will apply. When the leaders pit, if they're a lap car and you're in the wave around position, you go get that lap back on that second lap, and then you'll be in the rear of the field. But on that first lap, Lucky Dog will wait. He will pit with the leaders, and then he will get his lap back afterward. Obviously, everyone knows 100% engine is a DNF. As far as restarts, this is key. We will not delay the restart for any damages occurred under caution. If you're goofing off or if you make a mistake even or whatever and you damage your car, that is tough. We're not going to delay the restart for that. For time reasons, it's not to be mean or anything. It's just for time issues. We don't want to be here all night, obviously. We won't delay the restart for misalignments. If you are not aligned properly, then you're going to get a black flag. And we're just going to green flag it because we don't want to be doing 10,000 pace laps so that everyone can get in the right spot. It's real simple. Where you came out of pit road is where you line up at. It's really, really simple. There are no involvement rules of any sort. So where you are is where you are. So any misalignment is going to be an issue. Horseplay, obviously, us vets know about that because I don't see too much of that from the rookies and new people in the league. So, etc. You know, you had to pull over and change your batteries. You're gonna lose those spots. You gotta, answer a phone call or something. You're gonna lose those spots. So keep that in mind. There'll be very, very few exceptions to getting your position back if you have an emergency that warrants that, getting your position back. Your house is on fire, don't think that's an exaggeration. It happened to me, or things of that nature, then obviously we'll do what we can to make sure you get your spot back or whatever. But for the simple things, you're not going to get your spot back. If you have to pull over and you're gone for an extended period of time, you're not going to get those laps back. You'll have to get the lucky dog and do all that. A lot of these rules are in place for timing because we want to make sure we're not here until Armageddon. Okay? No red flags unless emergencies. The officials will call the red flag. So, for example, tonight, if and when our streamer gets it together, there'll be a red flag. Sure, we get the stream going, we'll go yellow, we'll go green. Okay? Outside of that, there are no red flags. So if you need to pull over for whatever reason, expect to go um, laps down. Team points, we'll go over that later in another broadcast. That's pretty much what I have for us for these rules. Um, if you have any questions, now's the time to ask them. So the chat is open for any questions you might have. Yes, I see all you here guys are here so you won't get fined. That is good. Full party. Full party today, Frosty. Full party. Do I like Doritos? Yes. Yes, I do. Not as much as Cheetos. So I like Flaming Hot Cheetos, but I don't like Doritos. What does that have to do with racing though? Is that your sponsor for today? Yeah. No, serious questions, those guys, so we can go so we can go so we can go racing. So unfortunately, the start of the race will not have a broadcaster. I hate that. Don't touch my freaking car. Well, I can't promise anything. There might be some drafting going on. I might side draft you, scrape the number off, But pace speed. Okay, yes. Thank you. Good question. Pace speed, it will vary on each track. When we first load into Daytona, pace speed will be 55 so that we could get in our proper positions, really so that the leaders can get where they need to be, and so that the guys that are hot seat drivers will always start in the back. No matter what the situation is, they will always start in the back until they are a part of the top 16. So expect the first load in to be a slower pace speed than average, but pace speed will be 70 around the racetrack on racetracks like Daytona, and it will vary for each track, obviously based on size and difficulty of the track as far as turns and things of that nature. So good job. 55 to load in, 70 after that. How many open spots left? I don't know. The spots vary. As far as hot seat, the hot seat list is indefinite, but you have to be realistic. The lower you are on that list, the less likely a chance you're going to get a chance to run. But you never know. Like, we have a situation where half the field doesn't show up and you're next on that list and you get the opportunity. Also, that's where your team points come in at. You give team points to people that moves them up on the list because they have points. And you keep giving them team points, you DNF out of Daytona and then you have someone who gets the team points, they might be able to work their way in. Speaking of which, I'm glad you brought that up really briefly. Those people that are hot seats tonight, we're gonna have quite a few. I can see already at least 3. We're gonna have at least 3 tonight. Those ones that are hot seats will remain hot seats until after Maple Valley. The drivers that did not show up that ran the qualifying race will have an opportunity at Maple Valley to earn enough points to get out of the hot seat, to get into the top 16. After which, whoever's outside of the top 16 will become a hot seat. And no cursing. Yes, no cursing. We keep it clean. That's the rules of the league. That's the rules I've had in place for a long time. I don't use profanity, and You know, I appreciate the respect that everyone gives to me in that regard. So you will be penalized for profanity. Um, 20 points for the first 3 times, and then after that, it'll be removal from the league. So don't want to get to that point. Wow. And don't drive like Jaren at Auto Club. And don't drive like me either. Yeah, it's a good thing. I've been known to take people out on the last lap of a championship race at Daytona by practicing sim steering on the controller. But we won't. We don't. Don't drive like anybody, okay? Drive like yourself. Don't drive like anybody else. Any serious questions? Because I'm ready to go green flag. I don't know about y'all. Okay, well, there are no more serious questions. We're going to get this show on the road. I want to appreciate everyone's tuning in to this broadcast and everything. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions about the league itself, run this broadcast back because I'm not answering any more questions. Now was your opportunity. You're just going to be penalized. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. If other people want to try and answer that question, that's fine. I just, this is the whole point of the broadcast. So I appreciate everyone tuning in, and we will see you on the racetrack. Oh, by the way, be sure to check me out on social media, YouTube, Stream Monster 27, obviously right here on Twitch. Multiple streams here Tuesdays, Thursdays, and of course here on Saturday. And then check me out on Twitter. Sam Cook and a bunch of numbers behind it. Hopefully you can see it. See you on the track. Twitch Monster out.